why don't we move into center backs? I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation because there are a few people that can fill this role here. But Connor, I want to throw this to you.
All right, so I have 4 guys on my list. I'll start with the 2 that I didn't end up choosing. One of them is Matt Besler.
Okay.
He played 258 games during the decade. He was 1-time MLS Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time All-Star, and also won MLS Cup 1 time. And I think just like his longevity in the league, he's not obviously the most talented, but he's always been there, and he's always been like a top center back, even if he's not the best. His accolades show it. But there's better guys out there. One of the more current guys that I also didn't go with, Ike Opara. 180 games, 2-time MLS Defender of the Year, and also won MLS Cup. Again, another really solid guy. He's just been around for a while, still going strong with the Loons. But I just think that there's a couple of guys that are like more well known in the league. They're legends, and I think I had to put them in there. One of which, Michael Parkhurst, 186 games, 3-time All-Star, won MLS Cup with the best team in the league easily. And then my other center back, I went with Chad Marshall, 242 games, 1-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time MLS Cup, 1-time Supporter Shield. I think widely known, he's, for many people, I'm sure, the best defender in MLS history. So I think he's got to go on this list.
I like your list. I think it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, this list, this 11 might be very short because apparently we all picked the same players.
That definitely won't be the case.
Well, no, probably not once we get into the attack and stuff. But I also obviously had Chad Marshall. I think that's self-explanatory. I don't really need to justify that. But I had put Matt Besler in instead of Michael Parkhurst just because he's been in the league a bit longer. And as far as I've been following this league, that SKC backline has been pretty ridiculous.
With the exception of last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
True. But I remember the days of Jimmy Medranda, Graham Zusi, Besler. Like, that team was silly at points.
Yeah, they had Ike too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then sitting in front was Illy Sanchez and Roger Espinoza, and break your leg if you try and get by me.
Exactly.
Benny Feilhaber in his prime pulling the strings. Kai Kamara. Oh, God.
They should have been so good.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's another one that just quietly does his job and is just Mr. Consistent, I think, in that SKC team.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my two picks.
Any honorable mentions?
Yeah, so I put Drew Moore. I mean, I love me some Colorado guys. Now Drew Moore is playing Colorado. I debated. I have Omar Gonzalez on here. I know. But the time he spent with the Galaxy was, you can't overlook it. I mean, he did spend the later part of the decade playing in Mexico, but is now back with Toronto and is doing fairly consistent at 37. I don't even know how old the man is, but he's getting up there. But I just remember him in that early part of the decade with the Galaxy, and that Galaxy team was silly.
I agree with you. I don't want to, but I agree with you. As much as I dislike Omar Gonzalez, slow old body.
Yeah, I mean, compare
he was
that Galaxy. Compare that Galaxy backline to what it is now.
Oh yeah.
True. Very true.
Unreal stuff. Chad Marshall for me. Yep, right. We already talked about it. Consistent, best 11, defender of the year. No questions, no problems. Matt Besler is also in my starting 11 because Michael Parkhurst's biggest achievements were all before the 2010 season. And we didn't make this disclaimer, and we should. any achievement that you had that these players had before the 2010 year, not taken into account. So, for example, Michael Parkhurst was Defender of the Year, and I believe Supporter Shield, maybe Open Cup. I know he won something with New England in 06-07, but I didn't count that because it was before 2010, and then he left, and he only came back in 2014. Matt Beasley, on the other hand, started with KC in the early 10s, is what I'll call it. Won 3 U.S. Open Cups, including knocking RBNY out of the final in 2017, an MLS Cup in 2013, 2 Gold Cup winning sides, and went to the World Cup. 337 appearances for SKC, which, as we've already spoken about, was one of the league's best defensive teams for a long time. I think you got to put him in there. I think Iko Parra is probably another good shout. I didn't put him on my honorable mention because I don't know why. I just didn't. I think he probably should be. Now, because I think I just overlooked him as being FIFA good, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
Marvell Wynn was FIFA good, but Marvell Wynn doesn't make any decade team ever. Yeah.
Marvo Wynn had 96 pace and like 15 defending.
Yeah, exactly.
He would make the fastest FIFA team decade.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There you go. That's the decade.
There you go. That's what we'll give him. But right, so when I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, what did he do? But I forgot he had 2 Defender of the Year, one with Minnesota and one with SKC. So he definitely should be in here. And then I also put Drew Moore as an honorable mention. Colorado's MLS winning Cup captain, Toronto's treble winning team. He didn't captain that, but he was a big part of that 5-man back line. And then 3 Canadian championships, right? He's got a nice resume. You can't really deny it. And we all love a little bit of Drew Moore. So
True.
Go on, Drew.
Yeah. Well, I'm always gonna pick Parkey over Beasler. It's bias.
We are doing zero bias here. Did you see that I didn't put Robles as the best goalkeeper of the decade? No bias.
I'm putting bias. I don't care.
Don't
And
worry.
I didn't include his achievements from before 2010. So just the 3 All-Stars for
Just
Parkey.
wait until we get to the midfield, and you'll see that bias is not playing a part in this team.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mess.
It's going to be bad.